Am I okay? I don't know if this is the right title for the podcast, but I'm going to stick with it for the time being. I'm incredibly curious about how the mind works and how we function, and curious why mine is quite negative and overthinking and trying to understand the world and what is going on in it. Uh, this will hopefully be a series of short guided camera or question interviews around am I okay? Exploring the idea of meaning, choice, success, purpose, at least from a man's perspective, in the world largely, um, or at least a human search for meaning. I think for the time being, a man's search, for me personally, has been an interesting point of view, uh, especially trying to navigate what it actually means to be a man and to be okay. There are a lot of people, or a lot of people that are successful in one area, and I am incredibly aware of looking at people and them having success in one area, but not seeing the full picture of all the other areas, basically. And that one area of success is their truly thing that makes them great, and not looking at them as a whole person or a well person or just a whole person in the sense. Trying to think of what is acceptable and what is not. Uh, Most of today, I didn't do anything. I did absolutely nothing. It's my first real day of a 2 and a bit week holiday, and it feels pretty bad. I question whether I am okay. However, maybe from the outside perspectives, I'm an engineer in a solid company, earning over six figures, with a car that's paid for, a high level of fitness, can do a marathon in a sub 340, which for most people is quite a big deal. However, in the running space, it's probably not huge. Hence, that you can hear the negative talk in there. I've run ultra marathons, 100k, 100 miles from different perspectives. I am currently single. The reason why I say all this is that sometimes these areas are a level of success or a level to prove of maybe somewhere where I'm at. Should you come to me for investment advice? No. Should you come to me for advice on doing an ultra? Yeah, I probably have a few good tips for you and ideas mentally how I process it all. So I have tips of how to get into a relationship. Some doesn't show it's successful at the moment. I think it's hard chatting to a mate uh, recently around the idea of being okay or not feeling okay and navigating that feeling of not being okay. I think if I look back at my life, that is basically all I've been trying to do is to get to a point where I feel okay, I feel worthy of doing something. I don't know if that is just it. Level of self love, self worthiness. I mean, I've heard all the TikToks. I've heard all the TikToks, guys. I've heard a whole bunch of personal development things, and that's part of why I'm doing this podcast. Is I don't have all the answers. I feel like I have some answers, but I don't have all of them, and it is part of me a way to explore that and try and find different answers for different people because I do believe we're all unique and have our own authentic way of doing things. However, because we're all authentic and unique, you've got to find your own way in the world. You can copy others, you can see how other people do things, but the thing I struggle with is to try and authentically find out who I am and what I enjoy doing. The reason why I'm kind of starting this podcast, and it might be a cool reference point, is to look back at this in 5 or 10 years and to look at who I was as a person. Because I know who I was as a man, as a guy 5 or 10 years ago isn't even close. to the man I am today by the level of self-growth and character and awareness and self-belief in what I'm capable of and having achieved, basically. That's where it's at. I come to you today as a very real perspective because I haven't achieved anything for the most part. I watched a game of the Premier League on replay, slept until 12 o'clock because I was up late last night going out to a hardcore Harry's King of the Hill event that is still going, one of these last man standing events. And I'm just tired, exhausted. Didn't eat overly well today. Not terrible, but not overly well. Ended up smashing a whole massive packet of chips and what is almost a whole block of chocolate in the fridge. Have ideas of wanting to go to KFC and wanting to do other things. I am quite grateful that one of my options isn't to drink, take drugs, that sort of stuff. And this is like a balance of knowing how to reach out to people and trying to connect and trying to find some of the systems that help me to work through this. This is definitely just a rant. I think this is more for me as like a post-mortem or an idea of the future of what it's like to be okay, and what I'm not okay looks like. Yeah, I don't know, but I want to find out. I want to find out if that is even possible. I love the idea of Simon Sinek's question or answers that you're on the path or a mission to find an answer that you might not even find in your lifetime, but that is a big point, is to go and find that. It feels like lone wolf just holding up, trying to find my place in the world. This is absolute pure ramblings. At this point in time, I don't even know why I'm still recording and why I think it's possible. I've got Billions Season 6 episode paused on my TV. And it is definitely a feeling of worthlessness. That I know, based on what I've said before, that someone's like, fuck, man, you've got a lot of things going for you. And it's true, there is a lot of things going for me. But the thief of joy comparison in this point of view is also looking at billions, looking at other people that have way more success, way more maybe happiness, wealth, physical ability, and try to compare my life to where they're at the age of 30. Going, am I successful? Is this really what it's about? I'm going to try and find the answers. I love the idea of Chris Williamson's Modern Wisdom podcast, who I'm going to go see recently, about consistently sharing something or giving a point of view when it took him 10s, 50, 100 podcasts to start to get a bit of traction. And we'll see how it goes, see how consistent I can stay with this. I love speaking, trying to understand and contextualize things. I'll leave it at this point, is that times are definitely hard. That even at the moment, am I okay? I don't feel like I'm okay. But it is generally okay to not be okay. If you're not feeling okay internally, not when someone asks you, are you okay? Know that there is foundations and frameworks that help to feel like you might not feel okay, but it's not dire straits. It's not life ending, literally and figuratively. that I do believe that there is an out and there is a way to connect and to improve yourself or improve your level of confidence in the world to become a good version of yourself. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.